Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Alan Thomas with Rethink Dieting, and I've got two of our Rethink Dieting rock stars with us here this afternoon. And say hey, Sean, and say hey, Rick.
Hello.
And what I really brought this call together, I sort of surprised Rick about it because I asked him to be on here. But Sean, you guys have seen before, and you'll probably see Rick too. But so many people who are discouraged about weight don't believe that they stand a chance of ever losing weight really give up before they start. And Sean and Rick both have great stories, and I want to get into that with y'all. But if you're watching this video right now, whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching the replay of it, if you know somebody, man or woman, that is struggling with their weight and just believes that it's not possible to lose the weight, share it with them. Send them to it because they're going to get inspired by what these two rock stars, superheroes have done so far and are still doing. So at any rate, well, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. But Rick, so tell everybody where you are, who you are a little bit, and then we'll dive into some questions. I'm going to do the same with Sean in case people haven't met you guys.
Okay. Welcome. I'm 71 years old. I live in Eastern Ohio, outside of Steubenville, Ohio. And years ago, not years ago, I mean, for years I've been, like Alan says, hunting for that magic pill to be able to take weight off. I've been got heavy probably when I was in my early 20s after playing sports most of my life and not being as active as I was, and plus loving to eat. So kind of given up hope over the years because I tried every diet that there was, everything that there was to lose weight, and was always looking for the quick fix and the magic pills because, you know, I knew deep down that there was only one way to lose weight, and that's eat less calories and start trying to get more movement. But that's not what I wanted to do. That was the hard way to do it, and I've always looked for the easy way to do it. And
I got it. No, I love that. And so I asked Sean to join us because, I mean, and maybe before I even bring Sean on to talk a little bit, I mean, Rick, you started Rethink Dieting back in late July. So what were we talking about? 7 months roughly, you know, give or take a few days. And what was your situation physically at that time, if you don't mind? Well, before you dig into that, what prompted you to reach out to me? You told me, and that's so I'm totally teed up the question, but you told me about it the other day, so I wanted just to hear that.
I started, went to a cardiologist in February, and when they weigh you in when you first go in the door, I weighed 388. So I did. I knew I had to do something because I was having trouble getting around. I've been a realtor and an auctioneer for 40 some years, and was having trouble with work and everything else. And I did take off about 30 pounds and started putting a little bit of the weight back on. I knew that I had to do something. So I started checking around on the internet for the magic pill. And one afternoon I was on there and I came upon, I don't know how it came up, but it came up with you interviewing Sean. And
how about that?
When I watched the interview, I was very impressed with Sean because I'll let him tell his story, but it was in kind of a similar story that I was, because for about 2 years, I've walked with a walker because I have, I guess there is a little bit of nerve damage at the bottom part of my spine. It's compressed around the spinal column. And so I have nerve problems there. I went to a surgeon and he didn't want to operate. Thought it was too dangerous. So I was hunting for that magic pill and I found you and Sean instead of the magic pill, which maybe you guys are the pills.
Maybe so. And if you don't mind, do you mind sharing everybody where you're at right now, 7 months later? Now, granted, you lost about 30 and we're putting a little bit of back on. So, but where are you at right now?
When I started with Rethink Dieting, I was 354. And this morning I was 287.
Cool. Love that. So, and on the way. No, that's and you've been able to do like run marathons, and you've been going to the gym 42 times a day, or I mean, and obviously I'm kidding, and because I know Rick pretty well by now, I can joke with him. But were you able to do any crazy exercise?
No, not crazy exercise. I still lead a pretty sedentary life. I try to move around. I try to not use the walker, but I'll tell you what, being 71 years old, my biggest fear anymore is falling. So
Yeah.
that's why I use the walker quite a bit, because I have some balance problems, and it just, I always tell people, if I known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself, I guess.
Well, and what's so cool is you haven't, your condition limited you from doing that. You had some other medical issues that you talked about pretty openly too, but and there's 100 reasons why you shouldn't have been able to lose weight. I mean, maybe more. I mean, I don't know. And I'm just saying. So it's just so fun to see it. So all total, you're down, I think, about just a little over 100. You joined the 100-pound club, which is pretty cool. I love that. And so great job. And I want to bring Sean into the conversation, and we'll kind of go back and forth, you guys. And those that watch me know I script nothing. We just talk. So, but Sean, a lot of people know you, and tell everybody who you are, and kind of how you came about finding us, and a little bit of your story.
Yeah, well, I'm Sean Wiggins, and I am living in St. Mary's, Georgia, not too far from Amelia Island, where you are, Alan. And I have no idea how I found you, actually. I know I was playing around on Facebook, and maybe I responded to a link. And then I remember the first time you reached out to me, we didn't connect. And then later on, we connected, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, and that was October of 2020, right? That's when October 15th, I believe it was, when you started. And that, you mind sharing where you were kind of physically, and what the outlook for your health was at that point?
Yeah, so my actual second birthday, I call it, was October 16th, 2020. So when I started.
Wow, love that.
My heaviest weight was I was getting close to 500 pounds, and didn't know it. I had no idea I was getting that heavy until I started. Went to the doctor and weighed in. Wow, that was kind of an eye opener. I couldn't believe I was that heavy. And then maybe about a month later, I weighed in on October 16th at 432 with your program. And so total weight loss, I probably lost about close to 150 pounds now. And then my issue,
man, that's rare, man. Rare. Awesome.
And so my issue, one of the things that inspired me to move forward was I had lower back pain that caused me to be in a wheelchair. And my goal and my dream was just to be able to walk normal again. And so when I started the program, about maybe a week or two in, I started doing some physical therapy, and then I was able to walk 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 mile, 4 miles, 5 miles, and then I think the maximum I walked at one time was about 8 miles, and that's a blessing, because I just wanted my back to stop hurting, and I didn't realize Rick had the kind of the same issue. I wanted to get surgery. I was begging the doctors for some type of pain relief, and then my rock bottom was when I went to the doctor, and they couldn't administer, I guess, some type of pain injection they were going to give me. I don't even know what it is. I don't want to know what it was, but that day I didn't get the pain injection because my blood pressure was too high. So that was kind of a blessing in disguise. My goal was, as Rick can tell you, when you have back pain, you'll do anything to make it go away. And I thank God that you came along, Alan, and I did it the hard way, not the easy way. So
No, that's incredible. And no, and I love that story and love what you've done. And I want to dig into with both of you guys because some of the things you're seeing as a result. And here's what's interesting for those of you watching that don't know much about Rethink Dieting. We never tell anybody what to eat or what exercises to do. That is not now. Did these guys and everybody in our program have to change what they eat? Of course they do. I mean that's common sense, but it's really shifting your thinking and your belief and about what's possible. And hearing Rick's story and hearing Sean's story, I didn't. What's so funny about Sean's story is we met on the internet, didn't know him, and his
you muted.
the mic. Right. What I was saying, your mom and dad live within a mile of where I live on Amelia Island, which is crazy. And so we've gotten a chance to see each other, meet. We know each other not just through the internet, but as we've gone through this. But what would I want to ask you this, Rick? I'm going to kind of shift to Rick and just ask you. I mean, what would you say to somebody who's kind of given up? Who's kind of just resided themselves that life has to be that way, that they have to carry all that physical weight and that they just don't believe it can be done.
Probably the main thing would be to sorry, I got a phone ringing here.
It's all right. It's all right.
Would be to talk to somebody. That I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. You probably got is it the Congress or president calling you, wanting to get advice? Probably say that's it.
Yeah.
So what would you say from a standpoint of hope for them? I mean, because there's hopeless, when you sit between your elbows and feel like that you tried everything. I mean, I've been there. You guys have been there.
My hope when I first saw you on the internet and then saw you and Sean in the interview was you've been through there. You've been there once. You were you were a beast the same as I am, and so you've been through it, and that's what I wanted. Really, when I thought about it, that was one of the things that really brought me to you. Also, was that you've been in the ball game, you played the game before. It's not easy. I know, and I knew in my mind that there was only one person that could change it, and that was myself.
Amen.
And
that's right. Exactly it.
I would have never been able to do that without your assistance, though.
Oh wow! Well, you have both you guys, and the epitome of coachable, decisive, and committed and resourceful. There's always a way. There's always a way, and that's what I want people to hear. Whether they reach out to me or whatever, is that there is hope. That not to give up. I mean, so many people I talk to believe that it's not possible. They can't lose weight without a ton of exercise. Now, I want everybody to be healthy and do healthy exercise as much as they physically can do. But at the end of the day, you found a way regardless, even though you couldn't. There's always, like we say all the time, there's always a way for the committed. And so, I mean, hats off to you. Let me ask you this, and then I'm going to go back to Sean and ask a couple of questions. What's it like? Well, what was it like going to the doctor? Was that a fun experience prior to this journey?
No, I despise going to the doctor. In fact, I had a heart in 2000 and I think it was 2015 or 14. I had a heart attack, and I'm lucky to be here. I mean, I laid in my house for an entire week one time, and I know that there was 2 days that I didn't eat or drink anything all day long until friends of mine, got me into the hospital. It's very, I kind of lost my train of thought there for a second.
Well, just was asking about what's it like going to the doctor now, though?
Oh,
I mean, you
well,
go, and you're not there very as often as you probably would have been otherwise. So,
no, I was on your program or this program, Rethink Dieting, for several months, and we had to go in to see my cardiologist, and I very seldom get to see the doctor. I get to see his assistant, and Alan teases me now because she gave me a kiss on the cheek because I lost too much weight.
the nurses are hitting on you. Go easy on them now.
But
I love that.
I couldn't wait to go back, and I had just been back in to see my primary doctor about 2 weeks ago, and I couldn't wait for the appointment because I had blood work done like the week prior to, and couldn't wait to get the results. My A1 reading was
A1C.
5.1.
Oh,
My
wow. That's fantastic. Yeah.
blood
That's really
pressure
good. Yeah.
was 128/70 something. So that was
Wow.
great. Those are great readings for me because I was out of sight. I was off the charts for a while.
Wow. No, I love that.
They put me on a CPAP machine about 4 or 5 years ago, and that was probably my best friend for those 4 or 5 years. And I've kind of not using it right now. I think after I've taken this weight off, I should get back to see, how I do with it. But I just got in the habit of doing it, and then I got in the habit of not doing it. And but it's going to the doctors doesn't bother me at all right now. It's
kind
my
of
legs
like going to the candy
ankles.
store.
Yeah.
Like going to the candy store used to be, right?
My legs and ankles were always swollen, and now I can get shoes on and off easy. It's just, that's probably the main thing that I like is I'll never put this weight back on just because of what my legs were, the condition they were in.
And that's and we're gonna come back around to that in a few minutes too. But I'd love for Sean you to speak to that too. I mean, because you're down now, gosh, almost 150 pounds or whatever, a lot, and it's still going. I mean, and your doctor ironically just lives. I mean, my in-laws go to to the same doctor, so you become kind of a celebrity in there, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really weird that my story parallels with what Rick was saying because I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. I had a sleep study and then I ended up on a machine and I used it for a little while. And then Rick knows those things are hard to sleep with, with the device over your face and air just blowing down your throat. And then your throat becomes dry. And so when I went back to the doctor after losing so much weight, my blood pressure was normal. My I was pre-diabetic, and that went down to like a 5.1, 5.2.
Wow, there you go. But you hear that both you guys A1C on that's awesome.
The swelling in my legs is gone. I couldn't put on my clothes easily, so I would actually have to rest while putting on my clothes just to get my clothes on, to put on socks and shoes and pants. Probably took me about 30 minutes to, just to get dressed. And I was exhausted after trying to put clothes on. And I'm not going back either. I don't want to experience that again. That was terrible. And but my incident that led me to being in a wheelchair for 3 years was I fell down at Niagara Falls, New York. I didn't actually fall in the water, but I did fall down Niagara Falls. I know it sounds crazy. That was January 10th, 2017, the date of my accident. And it led me to, so you don't know you're gaining all this weight because you're just sitting around. And I'm thinking I'm healing, but I was actually dying. I thought I was healing, just waiting for my body to heal and get better. And I actually slept in a chair for 3 years because to lay horizontal, it was hard to breathe, and also my back would cramp up and my legs would cramp up. So I slept in a chair for 3 years, and so now those days are over, and I'm just so thankful. So
That's incredible, and that's, and what's so funny is not funny, like just awesome. I mean, you realize the two of y'all together have lost 250 pounds, basically, right around that. That didn't even count my 130, but I'm just saying, or 129. But and I'm not saying, but it's just interesting because most people would have given up, and but when you were 20 pounds overweight, could you ever imagine being over 100 pounds overweight? I want to speak to that because we deal with a lot of individuals who are 20, 30, 50. Could you have ever imagined, and I don't say this to shame you whatsoever, just to wake some people up maybe that are watching that only have 20, 30, 50 pounds of extra weight. Could you have ever imagined going as high as you did in your weight? You were always healthy, right?
Well, semi-healthy. I mean, you gain a little bit of weight, but then when the scale
Right.
starts going above 300, it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Amen.
Goal. And then when you see it go above 300, and then you hit the 400s, and then you're heading towards the 5, you're like, wait a minute, this can't be real. And I just didn't think there was a way to stop it, because I was constantly having to buy new clothes, and every time I bought new clothes, they were getting bigger and bigger. And I was just like, oh my God, when will this stop?
Yeah. And I've told this story before, and it is kind of an interesting story because I always, any of clients, I tell them up front, I don't give out diets, I don't give out exercise plans, like I said earlier, and obviously you have to make changes. But it was so interesting, and one of the first sessions with Sean was the first one, and he said, "But what am I going to eat?" Because you had never really been on a diet per se, had you, Sean?
No,
Yeah,
no.
and this wasn't a diet. And you said, "But what do I eat?" And I asked you if your wife and two daughters' life was on the line, and you had to lose just 1 pound, just one pound over the next week, and to get them back alive. God forbid that ever happened. I'm not wishing that on, but something I knew meant more to you than life itself. I asked you, what would you do? And your answer. Do you remember your answer to me?
You probably eat less.
There you go. And it was, and because I want people to get this, it's about becoming an expert on yourself. It's about, and Sean's become an expert on Sean. Rick's become an expert on Rick. And so Sean, you're headed to, I think your ideal weight range is what, 180, 190? I can't recall. I'm going blank right now.
It's 185, and I want to make a comment about eating. We can also drink our calories.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Sugar was so I wasn't really a big heavy eater. I was kind of like a nitpicker, Yeah, once in a while I would go to a buffet and have a big meal, but my biggest enemy was sweet tea. That's my number one drink on the planet. That's my kryptonite, and an occasional soda here and there, but this constant need of sugar in the liquid form is what led me to, because I would I would go out to eat, and every meal I had to have like almost a gallon of sweet tea a day minimum, and
And add it up. Yeah.
touched it in 2 years.
Yeah. And what's so neat now? So what would you say to somebody who says, "Oh, come on, Sean, come on, here you've already lost like 150 pounds, and I mean you still got a ways to go. I mean, why would you even bother losing more? There's just no way you can do that." What would you say to somebody?
Right now at 316 pounds, I would just say, watch me.
There you go. That's it. Just watch me go. I love that. And I'm going to come back to Rick. I'm going to come back to Sean in just a second. But Rick, what you've seen in your journey, as you've gone through this, and again, I say you could have given up. I mean, you had a heart attack, you had the problem with your back that was excruciating pain, all the different medical issues, and you could have just said no way, but you didn't give up. And I really, it's what I'd love for you to talk about is just kind of the idea that that the years ahead of you could be the best years of your life, and that concept. And I know you've had some great years and you're 71 years, but the ones coming ahead, and we don't know how many we get, but do you think you might have extended a few of them?
I sure hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, nobody's promised
I'm
tomorrow,
not ready
but
to bow out now because, first of all, my journey's not done. I'm like Sean. I still have almost as much to go as I've taken off, because I'm going to 190 and weighing 287 today. So it's pretty close to 100 pound to go. But yeah, and you and I have talked about this on our one-on-one sessions. I have no idea what the good Lord has in store for me. But I sure want to find out. And
there you go.
I hope
So what would you,
I hope it's exciting. I hope it's productive, and I hope that maybe I can change some lives.
yeah.
I know Sean's changed lives. I mean, what he's done is remarkable. But kind of like he's my hero, I guess you could say, along with other people. And there's several people that when I first joined the group, reached out to me, and I very much appreciated.
Yeah, Rick,
what would you say to somebody? What would you say to somebody that says, "Oh, come on, 190 pounds"? You really, Rick, like, get realistic. I mean, you can't run a marathon yet. I said yet, and I'm not saying you'll run one, but you can't do that. What would you say to them? They don't believe you're going to go
pretty much what Sean just said. Watch me. It's,
there you go. That's
don't
it.
bet against me because you're going to lose.
I love that. And what? And I want to. We'll come to Sean on this because I know Sean's got some things that really happened and been big. I mean, Rick, outside of just the obvious physical part and the, going to the doctor and that kind of thing. I mean, what's been probably the most encouraging piece that's been not an obvious direct result of the weight loss, but wouldn't have happened without it. And I didn't tell you, I don't prepare you guys for these questions. I just ask them off the top of my head. So, what is there anything that you can think of that you benefited, or maybe others around you have, or any of that wasn't directly, like, you wouldn't think about it when you think about losing weight, but it happened?
Well, there's several people that follow my group are on their own journey now. I mean, they're in the process of losing weight. I've got a niece that's taken 30 some pounds off, and
wow.
I think that
love it.
Didn't make me feel real good when she first told me, but she said she figured if I could do it, she could do it.
There you go. That's it.
That's
you
hear so many people say that if I could do this, anybody can do it. And getting back to one of the previous questions you asked me, that's one thing I'd like to impress on people. You can do it. And I think you're one of the, you've made some great comments that I've written down in a notebook I have here. And one of my favorite comments is that I've never met a bag of chips that contain more than one serving,
That's right.
Serving, and
they're the single serving size of chips that say family size on them. It's a misprint. I don't know why so those are single serving family size is what I always looked at them as. But you're doing so well. I mean, and it's so much fun to watch you as you soar with this. And Sean, I want to come to you with that same question. And you've seen you're still in your working years, and what impact has it had on the other areas? I mean, I know you've had some pretty incredible things happen.
Well, this is a race that has no finish line. First of all, there is no finish line. So
Amen.
It's a race that you just keep going and going, and then things around you start changing, shifting, because you believe in yourself and you pick yourself up and lift yourself up. It lifts other people. And that's my favorite part of this journey, is the lifting other people part, and you can do it, and you kind of do it silently, where you don't have to, tell everybody that you're helping somebody. I kind of like
Hmm.
that, because I'm not going to go out and advertise, hey, I did this, but you can do it kind of like in a silent way, and lift other people. And then you don't know who you're inspiring, because um, I went back to an in-person meeting about a month or two ago in Orlando, and I felt like a little nervous, because it was like I was a celebrity, and it was so much attention. I had to do selfies with the younger generation, selfies with the middle generation.
And now what Sean's talking about, without saying the name of this company, Sean works with a major international hospitality company.
Mhm.
And so, and that was the first in-person meeting since 2 years ago when you were using a wheelchair, right? Did I get
Yep.
that right?
Yeah.
And so now you're back, and there's a rumor that's circulating in Florida that the corporation you work with has created a term for that embodies. And Sean's a very humble guy. I mean, but that embodies the kind of ethic that they look for in people. You mind sharing with people what that is? What it's a verb now. You become a verb.
Yeah, they said that I'm getting wiggy with it, using my last name. 'Cause,
It's-
yeah, they said that it inspires them. And then at this particular meeting, one of my folks that I consult with, uh, I had some buttons with that had "Get Wiggy with It" on it, and she passed. I couldn't stop her, so she did her own thing, and she passed it out, and then it kind of went viral in person, which was it was just kind of weird, because people were coming up to me that I didn't know, and like, oh, thank you for your journey, you know, and I
Mhm.
just didn't know, I just really didn't know how to respond to that, because I'd rather, kind of take those things offline. But this is a public forum where people were acknowledging the change that they saw in me. And then as a reflection, it was like I was looking in a mirror. There was changes that I saw in them as well. So they were we're all getting better together. so,
I
so
love it. I love it.
yeah.
And I didn't know there were buttons. I want a button. I got to get a button. So that's
Yeah.
I put my order in for that.
But
That's so awesome.
I'll,
And
she's a good friend of mine, and I'll give you her phone number. You can call her, and she will ship it to you, because
I love, I love that.
'cause
I love that.
yeah, I'll send you her information.
Well, and this is something too. You know, both Rick's story and Sean's story, and really everybody. You know, we go through this process of gaining weight. So many people struggle. I mean, 70% of the U.S. population is overweight, over half obese, and then we want it all off in an afternoon. And so these guys have just stayed the course. They've stayed consistent. Has every week been like, the scale fell 20 pounds? And I'm gonna ask Rick that the first. Rick, does that happen every week? Like you drop 20 pounds a week or something? Does that happen?
Sure. The answer is unequivocally no. It's
No.
there's a lot of plateaus. And that's still a mental game.
Yeah.
I got on the
It's this
scales a
piece.
couple days ago, and I thought, I popped back up like a pound and a half with some water weight, and it's just very, very frustrating. It's tough to lose weight at times. It's tougher to lose the weight 2 or 3 times, when your weight's bouncing back and forth. So it's there's it's very humbling, I guess, is the best way to put
But
it.
but let me ask you this too, and that's a great response. And yeah, it's not a straight line. And I mean, like Sean talks, I'll let Sean use his term when I ask him, because I won't steal something he came up with. But it is. It's not just bam bam bam. Let me ask you this: have you starved yourself? Have you been doing any crazy eating?
No, that's I've been very fortunate. There's maybe been well, I've been doing this since July 23rd, I think, is the day I started, and
Mhm.
maybe 2 or 3 nights out of that whole time I've woke up in the middle of the night and actually been hungry, and felt
So
hungry.
you're eating healthy. What's your doctor? I mean, so because we don't give there's no medical advice here, none of that from me or anybody on our team, and so but what you've been doing is your doctor approves, right?
Yes.
They're very happy with it. Yeah, no, and I love that, and in the situation you're in, with your back problem and all, you've not even been able to exercise yet, and we say yet because we'd love for you to, but and you've still done it, right?
No, I'm still not exercising regularly.
But the weight's coming down though.
Weight's
Anyway,
coming down.
love it, love it, Sean. What you that question you asked me. I mean, what do I eat? And then you started figuring out becoming the expert on you, and I mean, have you been starving yourself to get this weight of 150 pounds, man? That's rare air.
Nope. I just kind
I mean,
of
you post these pictures of these magnificent looking meals, which is pretty cool. So I'm like, I want some of that. So
yeah. The photos are just reminders, meal ideas. So the days when I can't figure out what to eat, I can just surf through and look at a couple of meal ideas, and then I'll get inspiration from that. So the old me posts things for the future me, and that's kind of my concept on my page. Is I film myself walking, and I always
Mhm.
point down at my feet because I'm like, God, thank you for allowing my feet to move again. That's the prayer I'm saying while I'm
Mhm.
walking, and I show my future me that you can do it. So it's like, for selfish reasons, I'm posting those photos to remind myself of that when I'm not feeling well, or days where maybe I feel like giving up for that day, I can look at those videos and say, you know what, you weren't feeling well that day and you still walked, or you were trying to figure out what to eat, but here's an idea. So that really helps me to map my future by mapping my past. So,
Yeah, and you now you're. I mean, my favorite video of all was when you rode bikes with your daughter for the first time.
oh my God.
And the look on her face, not just the look on yours. I mean, you hadn't been on a bike in a long time, had you?
Yeah, 3 years, and I tell people, success in this realm is not a straight line. It's always going to
Right.
go like kind of up and down, and I refer to it as a pulse, because if you have a straight line, you're not living. If you're going straight down, that's not living. But if you see a up and down um, uh, system of loss, then that is proof that we have a pulse and we're
That's
living.
it. No, I love that. I love it, and it's just so much fun to watch you guys win. I mean, it really is, and you're inspiring a lot of people. But for those that are listening, again, if you know somebody that's struggling, and it might only be 20 pounds, because we all started at 1 pound overweight before we were over 100 pounds overweight. So somebody who struggles 20, 30, 50, 100, whatever it is, share this with them, and hopefully it'll give them hope. But these two rock stars, they started with a video. The first thing they watched was a video at rethinkdieting.com, where we walked through the 5-step strategy that I personally used to lose 129 pounds in 260 days. And this is how these guys are doing it too. And so it's real value. I actually got an email from an individual that just watched the video and lost 30 pounds over the last several months. So it's real value in there, but they started there. And then if you feel like you need some support, and don't want to go on it alone, book a call at transformmyfuture.com/apply. It's the same call that I had with Rick, same call that I had with Sean, and it proved to be something that worked out real well, because at the end of the day, for all of us, our health is so important. That health is massively important. If we don't have health, nothing else really matters. And there's nothing else. But all those costs that extra weight can cost us, the cost at work, the cost in our relationships, the cost in family, not to mention possible years. And so if you feel like your weight's costing you in other areas and it's holding you back, then go check that video out, book a call, and we'll look forward to talking to you. But Rick and Sean, thank you so much. This is like the funnest thing I get to do is interview you rock stars. Their other outfit has a cape with it, just so y'all know, because all superheroes wear capes. So they had to get fitted for new capes recently because their capes were too big. So anyway, well guys, thank you so much for being on here, and God bless.
Okay, take